Tech often gets a bad name for not being a great citizen, and you can see here work that's done really specifically, even at the neighborhood level, to work on social capital and make sure that people who aren't normally included in this movement are, and the work that you do in kind of building that center and engaging kids in the community. We have so much amazing social capital in the Bay Area that often isn't tapped into, that efforts like that are amazing. And just the amount of stuff that is being innovated in terms of crowd working and civic innovation, cities becoming a platform for all this stuff is staggering to see, so thank you for that effort. We're in for a real treat now. The world of storytelling is evolving very rapidly, and one of the most powerful new tools is virtual reality. If you marry that up with amazing social change, you may have an empathy engine for the next century. It's my pleasure to introduce Rob Holzer, who's founder of Matter Unlimited.
All right. Hey, good morning. So, like a couple other speakers, I also have barely a voice left after 3 days on Summit at Sea cruise, where I got about 6 hours of sleep total. So I think there's a couple of you in the audience too that were on that cruise. So bear with me. But thanks to Zeev for having me here today. Definitely excited about what we get to talk about today and also show you. Just a little bit about this project. This is virtual reality, and I'm sure a lot of you have already heard about virtual reality, but one of the worst and hardest things to do is actually talk about virtual reality, because it is so difficult to try and describe to people what VR is like. And I've now played our film to thousands of people, and we have conversations, and the conversations before and then after are just completely different conversations. So one of the wonderful things about this is that we have here today headsets, which are just outside to the left here, and we're going to be able to show all of you the film that we're going to be talking about today. So I encourage you all to try and do that with us. So this project, Inside Impact, which we started at Matter, which is an agency dedicated to social good exclusively, that I started about 4.5 years ago. And I love the idea of that tilted head from our last speaker, because I used to get that a lot. And I think circa 2015, it's also a different dialogue that's happening with brands these days. But we are definitely in quite an interesting moment with virtual reality. And to me, who I've been in digital for 20 years, I used to tell people what the internet was when I started at the New York Times, electronic media division, it was called back then. For me, I have seen trends come in my office and people sit down with me and say, this is amazing, check this out, Flash, it moves on a screen. And it was all cool stuff. It is cool stuff. When I saw virtual reality, I was shocked and I was moved. And the first thing that I did see was a live action cinematic film done by the filmmakers who we ended up working with for this project. And I do believe that we are really living in a paradigm shifting moment with this technology in kind of a radio to TV kind of a way. There's going to be so much that is developing in virtual reality, and when I think about where it is today, just at this moment, it's astounding already, and we're 5 minutes into this, so it's quite incredible. So my lane, and the lane of everybody in this room, how do we use the power of VR for good? This has been really what we've been focused on. So about 1.5 years ago, I got that demo from a friend of mine who was representing these filmmakers, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it, because the way that I saw the experience in virtual reality was something very different than any kind of storytelling medium I had ever experienced, because of the sense that you get of presence and actually being in the space versus watching something about a space. So we, as an agency, had been working with the Clinton Global Initiative for a few years, helping them with digital strategy. So I was very intimate with CGI and what happens at CGI and how members, many members in the room here, work with CGI and actually do this game-changing, world-changing work out in the field. And I had also been to CGI a few times, and when you go to an event like that, I mean, you're amazed. There's the president, and then there's leaders of countries and CEOs of big companies, and people doing the good work in the world, and you meet these people. But there is something about a distance when you're in that space. You're talking about these problems. We're all talking about these issues, but there's separation from them. So my thought was that if we can actually create an experience at CGI for the people that are doing this very difficult work, where they can really feel in their hearts firsthand what the work is all about, they will connect in an emotional way to that work that will inspire and move them to do more things. So we put together a film treatment. We went to CGI, went to our friends over there, and we pitched the idea, and they seemed to like it. They said, that sounds great. And then I didn't hear anything. About 3 months went by, and I got a call somewhere in March from my person over there that said, it got in front of the president. President Clinton loves the idea, and he wants to do it. And he's leaving for Africa in 3.5 weeks with Chelsea and the delegation, and can we make this happen in 3.5 weeks? So, when someone tells you that the president wants to do something, you kind of move mountains. And it was really incredible because 3.5 weeks later, I was on a plane to Tanzania with our film crew of 10 with 40 cases, which is what this camera breaks down into, to go and stay one day ahead of the president and the delegation to capture what we've captured. And it was quite the most bucket list experience of my life, for sure. But it was also thanks to a lot of hard work by our filmmaking team, Felix and Paul, our production partner at Missing Pieces, Ari Kushner, who helped pull this together with me, and the very good people at Oculus who came and decided to help and fund the project as well. And they also have provided us the headsets here today to show you guys everything we're talking about. So it is really, it was quite an incredible launch. One thing I'm going to say is that, why are we doing this? Because charities are having difficulty in relating to their audiences, and that's a big problem right now. And they need to have tangible ways to connect with their audience in a much more tangible way. So we think that VR is really the way that you can really do that. It can transport us. You can see the work of these organizations, as I said, and feel it firsthand. It does create deeper empathy, but then how do we move that to action? That's one of the biggest things. So that's what we're working on. And so the film that you'll see really starts that process. I'm going to move quick. I see my time's up. This is just the president, so he'll save the best.
For the first time, we're debuting a film here at CGI. Unlike any that most of you have seen, and certainly that I had ever seen, this one is a 360-degree virtual reality experience where you're actually supposed to feel like you're there. I looked at it for the first time earlier this week, and I felt that I was back there. And I'm narrating the film from my desk. So they put on this headset, and I was watching it, and I saw a book on my desk back when I did the film. I reached out and tried to pick it up. I forgot that I was in virtual reality, which is a good preparation for the political season in America.
We definitely loved the joke, and it was great. So I encourage you all to see what the president's talking about and what we're talking about and experience it for yourself. And come and see us. We'll be out there. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.